I'm going to clear this off. We'll go ahead and check out the other area with the tornado warning. I need to clear that off first. We'll clear that off, move it to the other area with the tornado warning. The circulation here is just to the west of DuPont. And again, with the radar, sometimes it could be in this location or it may be inside this. It's a little tough to tell. There could be a circulation wrapping in there. So we'll track both of those because both of them are of significant concern. So we'll go ahead and run a storm track on that. Phil is getting a microphone on so he can help talk to us here. But this runs this tornadic warned storm into Clintonville at 5:35 and Clinton View Municipal Airport about 5:38. This would put it through the Cloverleafs area, Cloverleaf Lakes, and then eventually just to the south of Bonduel. I'm going to tell you what, Phil, while you are working on that, could you also put the other crawl up with the radar so people can see the radar on a larger scale there? Right now we have significant lightning with this storm, but again, very high dew points is going to lead to very heavy rainfall totals with these storms. Currently, I'm going to grab the warnings, throw the warnings on there. So this is just the warnings straight out. The warning for another 22 minutes on both tornado warnings. They both run until 5:45. Northern side of Waupaca County, and just a little clip of the northwest corner of Outagamie County. This is well northwest of Black Creek. And then we have the tornado warning out. This includes the city of Kashina over towards Underhill, basically from Cecil to Gillett, back towards Kashina. So this is northern sections of Shawano County, far western Oconto County, and the southern portions of Menominee County, also under a severe thunderstorm warning because there is hail and some gusty winds involved with that storm. I'm going to check the velocity. I'm not sure why it is doing that, but we appear to be getting a very odd color table with this. This is not our standard color table, and it could be in a way that the data is delivered. But this would indicate that the tornadic portion of the storm is very close to DuPont, maybe just to the south of DuPont. Again, you have to take it with a little bit of grain of salt because the radar sees this at height. It's a few thousand feet off the ground by the time the radar radar beam intersects that. And this looks like it is almost right along County VV, right to the west of Legend Lake, moving through the Legend Lake area. What we're looking at here is in the different areas, the different colorings that you're seeing here, it's showing that I'm going to draw this on here. So it's showing that this is moving away from the radar, and then this area is moving towards the radar. And what that helps us with, it shows us there is a circulation in here almost right on top of Legend Lake and moving basically along County Road VV towards the east. So that's what we're looking for. I'm going to check out the other area there. There are some houses up in that Legend Lake area that received some damage from severe thunderstorms earlier this summer. Again, not only is this storm cell moving in, there is the secondary. This one looking a little more impressive now, Phil. Just to the south of DuPont, this would be along County Road C, the northern sections of Waupaca County, south of DuPont. Again, we are looking at the circulation here in the radar, and please excuse the color tables. They are a little skewed right now and not sure of the reason, but basically, there we go. Well, yeah, it is. This is fairly concerning. This does look like a radar-indicated tornado. Phil, have you seen anything on our chat indicating that they have any visual sightings of funnel clouds or tornadoes with this? Because this would put a tornado almost right on top of County Road C, just to the south of DuPont. And I have completely lost access to the mouse here, so I'm going to see if I can.
Be radar indicated at the moment.
Radar indicated at the moment. Anything on the Kashina storm?
Both radar indicated. Both warnings are radar indicated.
And if you are in the path of either one of these tornadoes, please take them seriously. This is often how we get I have completely lost.
That's all right. I'll take it.
All right. I'll tell you what, you go ahead and check out that and walk us through what you're doing. I'm going to jump in here and take a look at what we're seeing on the chat, and also I want to check out something different on Weather 3. We have the warnings up on Weather 3, so I'm going to zoom in on those so we get a little bit better look on that.
So what you're seeing here right now is what we're pulling up is the reflectivity image, and you can see these two hooks, these two tornado warnings that we have, again, for portions of Menominee County and Oconto County. It stops just to the west of Gillett, and then another tornado warning which is for northern Wapaka and just the little extreme northwestern edge of Outagamie County near Clintonville. So basically this warning, this tornado would be approaching Clintonville. Last I checked, they were moving off to the east at 45 miles per hour. So let me see if I can get a track on both of these. We have one warning, again, that's just off to the west of Clintonville. That would be in Clintonville at 5:36. So you have 10 minutes in order to get in away from your windows, to get into an interior room. Basically, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This will be near Madison after that. And that's Matteson, Madison, at 5:41. Deer Creek State Wildlife Area at 5:44. If it continues to track to that direction. We also have a tornado warning, again to the north. That one is tracking toward Underhill at 5:35. You have a little less than 10 minutes. Gillett, 5:40. It'll be near you, this circulation. Spring Hill School at 5:43 and Deegantown School 5:46. That would be taking it out of the warned area, but if it continues off to that direction, that's what we are looking at.
Yeah, and Phil, one of the things that I'm looking at on is that these thunderstorms are producing exceptional amounts of rain. That was something we were concerned with through the evening hours. As these storms move in and move towards the east and southeast, the northern half of our area could see torrential rains. With the very high humidity that we have in place, there is a chance that we could see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain with these thunderstorms. And the radar estimating north of Wittenberg and also northern Menominee County and northern sections of Oconto County, they've already seen between 1 and 2 inches of rain, and the thunderstorms have really just been moving in. I think that trend is a little bit concerning, especially in the high humidity environment that we're in right now. Mm-hmm. It does look like we have that swirl still filled just to the west of Clintonville.
Yeah.
Looking just to the east of Highway 110.
Yeah, if you are in Clintonville, you want to make sure you're taking cover, or if you're, I would say especially just from Clintonville and off to the south. It does look like this is probably going to be...
Bottom of that show has the warning safety stuff.
Gotcha, okay. So, yeah, I would say if you're headed from Clintonville up to Embarrass, the circulation may end up skipping just south of you, but from Clintonville, especially between Clintonville and Bear Creek, you want to be treating this as if a tornado is either on the ground due to the radar indications or could form at any moment. So that's what we're looking at here.
Yeah, William, why don't we do it? Go ahead and take that. And especially important for the people in the Legend Lake area over towards Gillett and the people around the city of Clintonville and in the Legend Lake area. If we could take that what to do in case of a tornado warning, that would be wonderful. You could see the still indicating a rotation there. Right almost over Legend Lake. So for tornado safety, best thing to do is to avoid outside windows, walls, and doors. Now, this also goes for severe thunderstorm warnings, and there is a large severe thunderstorm warning that impacts that entire area as well. You want to put as many walls between yourself and the outside as possible. The safest place to be by far is in the basement. Short of that, inside an interior closet or an interior bathroom with no windows or very few windows is the next safest place to be. What you want to do is get away from the outside and the exterior walls. Let's jump back to the radar. Phil's showing something very interesting here on the storm relative winds. Storm relative winds indicate. Oh, you just kicked off storm relative winds.
Oh, did you want that? My fault.
All right. So storm relative winds indicating that rotation is there. Still, just to the north. I can't grab access to that.
All right. Let me reset that for you.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to jump over to the other system. You know what? If we could take up Max 4. If you guys could punch up weather 4, that would be wonderful. We could take a quick look at that while Phil and I get situated here. And Weather 4 is indicating that we have these very, I'm trying to see what's going on. Oh, there you go. You can see the rotation on that. That is the actual rotation that we were looking at moving through the Clintonville area. And again, this is showing the rotation as well. What happens, I'm going to zoom out on this. Phil, I'll work off 4 here real quick. But if we zoom out, what happens is we have this very high humidity environment. We have this line of thunderstorms that's marching towards the east. So as the thunderstorm line progresses eastward, that's looks like this, and it's moving east. But also we have very strong winds coming out of the south and the southwest that are interacting with the line. So what happens is that these lines, the southerly winds running into the nose of the thunderstorm ends up causing rotations like we're seeing around Clintonville, like we're seeing up in the Legend Lake area. And it doesn't take that much when we have this type of environment to get tornadoes. This is the scenario, the type of scenario that ended up leading to some of the tornadoes in the Appleton area a few years ago around Kaukauna. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. You can see we still have a fairly tight rotation there just to the south of Clintonville. Notice, have they expanded the tornado warning southward at all?
Let me
No, it does clip a little bit of northwest Outagamie County, but it would not surprise me to see this extended eastward and southward into southern Shawano especially. But you can see, I was looking backwards at we have multiple monitors running here, but basically this is running toward the radar very quickly in this fashion. And then on the other side, we have this area that's running away from the radar. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be moving away from the radar all that quickly when you get the rotation to start, especially on the nose of that line of thunderstorm. So that's what we're seeing right there. It does look like there's a radar indicated tornado probably just south of Clintonville, but very, very close. If you were in Clintonville, if you were in Bear Creek, if you were in Madison, you need to take precaution and act like this is an actual tornado on the ground. Have not seen anything from our chat. I'm going to take a quick look at that. Phil, have you seen that?
Everything is still radar indicated at this point. We don't have any spotters that have said that they've seen any, at least not to our knowledge. We haven't had any spotters that have seen any funnels or any tornadoes on the ground yet, but there are signs on the radar, those hook shapes that we talk about, those signatures on the velocity that do indicate that we could have
and keep in mind that when we have these signatures on the radar, sometimes the tornado is there, it's just not touching the ground. So in that case, it would be a funnel. But when you have that rotation extending through the thunderstorm, that can get down to the ground in a hurry. And sometimes you don't see it until you see the dust and the debris start swirling near the ground.
Yeah.
You don't even notice if it's a funnel until it actually starts picking up debris, and that is fairly often. Again, we're seeing this circulation just to the west of Gillett. This would be moving more towards O'Connell Falls. This seems to have almost a due east proponent. I'm going to put a storm track on this. This storm just to the east of Legend Lake now. Oh, new radar update, and that again looks like radar indicated tornado just to the west of Gillett. This would put it in Gillett at 5:45. That may be a little bit slow, and it is likely the way I measured that. Let's go ahead and back that off. I'm going to run a different storm track on that and get more towards the leading edge of those thunderstorms. And you can see the thunderstorm just about to move into Gillett. That would put it in Gillett at 5:37. That seems much more appropriate within the next 2 or 3 minutes. If you are in Gillett, please take your tornado warning seriously. You need to go to the basement if you have one. Avoid windows. If you do not have a basement, go to an interior room somewhere towards the middle of your house. This storm will be in O'Connell Falls right about 5:50, 5:53, so somewhere in that range. I'm going to clear this off. We'll back this up. We still have Max 4, Weather 4 on the air, Phil.
Okay.
Just so you're aware if you're working on one. And I'm going to come back down towards the storm in Bear Creek. And again, you could see we have a pretty intensive circulation there just to the south of Clintonville. I'm going to check the velocity. velocity still looks identical. It looks the same. This would indicate to me that there is a radar indicated tornado just south or southwest of Clintonville, just to the west of Highway 45. That would be moving east. So I'm gonna run a storm track on this. It's basically over the northern sections of Oconto County. That would put it in past the Clintonville and Clintonville Municipal Airport, but this would put it out towards the Navarino Wildlife Area here. That would be coming up right about 6 p.m. So areas between Bear Creek and Navarino need to very seriously take this storm as it continues to push eastward.
Yeah, the radar signature is not necessarily looking like there's a super tight couplet as we're looking at that velocity image that you have up there.
Right.
But we do have these two very ominous hooks on the reflectivity, these little curls that we're seeing, which is indicative of sometimes rotation, at the very least indicative of some very strong winds that are probably crashing out of the backside of these thunderstorms.
Yes.
So even if they're not producing a tornado, I would say there's some very strong winds between between Clintonville and between Bear Creek there's going to be a corridor of some very, very, very strong winds that runs into northwest Outagamie County, and is likely just crossing Highway 45 now. Same thing with that storm.
Phil, can you back that out just
Sure.
for a second? Brand new severe thunderstorm warning with tornadoes possible. That includes northern Outagamie, almost all of Shawano County, at least eastern half of Shawano County, a significant chunk of Oconto County, and southern Marinette County. That is for this line. So on, yes, we have, you said we have weather. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Chris, with this temporary environment, we're having a little bit of trouble with this, but you can see that we do have the wind speeds on the backside of the storm, especially over Shawano and Wapaka County right now. Very impressive, pushing in on the backside. I'm going to go ahead and mark some of these, but what I'm trying to indicate here is that the radar is estimating winds between 60 and 75 miles per hour in the areas that you see in the light blue. So even if you do not have a tornado specifically for your location, there seems to be a fairly widespread area here from Shawano down to south of Clintonville, almost to New London or just northwest of New London, where we're going to have these very strong winds kind of pushing out towards the east-southeast. That would actually bring those towards Green Bay in about, I'm just guessing here, spitballing, maybe an hour or so. Phil, did you hear that note? We have, this is a look at the winds. Could we jump back to Weather 1 on air so Phil can show people the new severe thunderstorm warning, where that is? All right, thank you. Phil, you got that.
I do have that, yeah, waiting. Okay, there we go. So what we're looking at here is you see this orange box that basically kind of runs up from Marinette, Pound, down through the rest of Oconto County and into the rest of Shawano County. It also includes the northern, I would say, third of Outagamie County, and it looks like they have allowed that tornado warning that was up near Gillett to expire. Oh, they haven't allowed it to expire. That's my fault. But
they removed the Menominee County portion.
So that worst of that circulation is just now on top of Gillett in terms of those stronger winds. It's basically running right along Highway 22.
Yeah, there's still a pretty good rotation with that. I would be surprised if they don't issue that a little bit further.
So if you are along Highway 22 between Gillett and Oconto Falls, and if you're in Oconto Falls, even if they don't continue this tornado warning into Oconto Falls, I would be very alert for this storm to produce at least 60 mile per hour straight line winds, perhaps even a little bit stronger than that. So you still do want to get inside and away from windows. You know, 80 mile per hour winds are just as strong as a weak tornado. So you do still need to take them very seriously, these severe thunderstorm warnings. And then it's a little tough to tell, you know, kind of what's happened on the south edge of this with that second, or with that larger tornado warning that was between Clintonville and Bear Creek.
It almost looks like the line's trying to overtake that circulation.
A little bit, yeah. The circulation kind of dove
It's been diving a little bit south, yes.
So let's see, I'm going to pull up the storm relative velocity here, actually. And
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I think we're dealing with
very
folding.
odd, yeah. So Here, let me zoom back in on this radar. And so
The-
you can
the
still see a little bit of a hook near Bear Creek.
Yeah, the circulation near Gillett is actually pretty impressive right now. If you could go up and take a look at that.
There's that hook.
Again,
And then
I think we're dealing with range folding. I think that's why we're getting the odd colorings in the radar. But boy, there's a pretty good circulation there right near Gillett, maybe just to the north of Gillett, where Highway 22 and where Highway 32 and 22 kind of run together there on the east side of Gillett before 32 turns north.
And what I'm saying is, right along Highway 22, you're going to have this push here.
Yeah.
This little backwards shaped C right along Highway 22. That's where you're going to probably run into, even if there is no tornado, some very, very strong straight line winds that could be in excess of 60 miles per hour.
We could see strong straight line winds really from almost anywhere in these severe thunderstorms.
Correct.
There is the new tornado warning. Phil,
okay, they've
could you
extended
pop
that.
velocity on that? Again, I was expecting this. It looks like this tornado is running almost along or just north of Highway 22.
Yeah.
Check the velocity because there's a decent couplet there right north of Gillett. Yeah, the folding looks a little odd. Could we kick this over to weather 4, please? I think this might be me on weather 4. Thank you. The storm. This is the wind speeds here just to the north of Gillett on our velocity. Again, new tornado warning. Do you have an expiration on that tornado warning? 6:15.
I don't yet.
New tornado warning for central Oconto County until 6:15. This is the area that looks like it has the tornado. Phil, if you could check the IEM, the chat with the Weather Service, and see if there's any updates, any spotter notifications, or the county sheriffs. But we have a tornado warning right now. This tornado. Radar indicated, but it would be right near Gillett. Again, this moving away from the radar, this moving towards the radar, indicating the circulation is right in this general area, just on the north side of Gillett, maybe right near where Highway 32 turns north and where Highway 32 and 22 are kind of running together there in the western portions of Oconto County. And if you zoom this back just a little bit, you can see that this circulation has been moving eastward. You start to pick up in a little bit wider view where that circulation is, and I'm going to run a storm track on that because it has been moving almost due east from Legend Lake. This would bring it into Oconto Falls at 5:59, Stiles at 6:08, Lena at 6:09, and Oconto at 6:26. So this is moving just north of the Abrams area and just south of the Menominee County line, it looks
very quickly. They've expired the tornado warning for Outagamie and Wapaka counties. That was the one that was near Bear Creek and Clintonville. But you are still in those areas under a severe thunderstorm warning. And I would absolutely, if you are in Nichols, Black Creek, between there and Clintonville and Bear Creek, Navarino, those spots, you could see some very, very strong straight line winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, perhaps higher than that. So you do still want to be very careful. But now, obviously, the most concerning feature that we're watching at the moment is that potential tornadic circulation just past Gillett near Oconto Falls.
Yeah, it does look like some of the winds on the backside of that have weakened a bit, but it's a little difficult to tell with the thing I would like to point out is often when we get these kind of circulations and these lines moving in, these can interact with boundaries, little weak boundaries coming off of the bay or off of Lake Michigan. That's how we ended up with the tornado in Manitowoc County just a couple of days ago. So this is a dangerous situation for the central portions of Oconto County. We're going to go ahead and throw the regular radar up. I believe I'm still up.
One silver lining here, I do want to mention, I'm keeping an eye on radar scope. I have not seen anything on correlation coefficient, which would indicate damage or debris rather potentially lofted in the air. So I have not been seeing any of that, which is some good news. But we are still seeing other very concerning signatures on radar. For example, the velocity, just the shape and the look of the traditional reflectivity. That's what has us so concerned. If we can actually flip over to Max 1, if we can punch weather 1 Here we go. Thank you. So I've got a storm track on that right now. It's the circulation has been running essentially due east right along Highway 22. If it continues at the east at 45 miles per hour, it's going to be in O'Connell Falls in less than 5 minutes. So you need to get away from exterior walls and treat this storm, even if you do not see a tornado, as if it could produce tornado-like damage. Near Stiles at 5:55, the Lincoln School at 6:07, Oconto itself also at 6:07, and you can see that just progressing off to the east from there. I'm going to redraw this now just to make sure that we're still getting a good storm track on here. So that just updated.
Yeah.
Put another track on it. Yeah, O'Connell Falls within the next couple of minutes here. Pioneer Memorial County Park at 5:54, Stiles at 5:54, O'Connell itself at 6:05. So that's when you really want to be. Those are the estimated arrival times that we're looking at here.
Yeah, maybe we could take a little bit wider view, come out to weather 4 or max 4 there, and take a little bit wider view of the entire line that's coming in. Something interesting I'm noticing on Storm Tracker, and I can't see what's happening. There we go. Okay, so you can see that we have this line, and the computer models were indicating that this would stay basically over the Northwoods, but it has been creeping southward. Even on the western edge of this is well south of where the computer models were indicating. I think even Appleton, I was expecting Green Bay to get thunderstorms, but I think even at this point, Appleton is going to get into some thunderstorm activity as this moves in. At this point, it's still fairly far north of Oshkosh, but later on tonight, it could sneak southward far enough to clip portions of EAA Air Venture there on the south side of Oshkosh. But one of the things I'm noticing in this storm tracker, I'm going to run the loop here in a moment, but I would like to point out that almost all of the lightning with this seems to be tied up right on the north side of where that tornado warning is. And there's a secondary batch here and a secondary batch here, indicating that we do have other areas of strong thunderstorms, but it appears that this area has the most lightning with it in central Oconto County. And just based on that, and I'm going to throw up the recent hail, and you can see that that's right along where a potential, you may see penny-size hail in that storm on the north side, but I think, again, the biggest concern is obviously the tornado warning, but on top of that, could see some strong winds with these storms as they move in. And Phil, take a look at this couplet now, just northwest of O'Connell Falls.
Yeah. If you live anywhere in and along that 141 corridor between Stiles and Lena, you need to be on alert and taking this very seriously and getting inside and away from windows. I would say especially up to between 22 and Lena. It looks like that is where potentially you could have some big problems here with strong winds and potentially a tornado that could be produced. That's what Patrick is looking at here.
Yeah, and as we were saying, everywhere between, say, from O'Connell Falls all the way up to Spruce and then Stiles to Lena, those are the areas where you need to really take precaution. I'm going to have to clear that off before I zoom out. But just to reiterate here, this looks like a tornado on radar. Sometimes the circulation can be a few thousand feet off the ground and then not drop to the surface, or sometimes they skip. Sometimes the rotation stays there and tornadoes will kind of bounce up and down out of the storm as it finds more favorable conditions. I'm going to do a little bit wider storm track than that, Phil, on this, just so we make sure that the people in the tornado warning and in the path of this storm have an idea of a time of arrival. But this would, maybe I can zoom this over a little bit.
Here, I've got it. Okay.
I'm just trying to move it to a little more favorable location. You know what? That made all of the times go away. I'm going to back it out just a touch. Trying to help the people over central Oconto County. Just keep in mind there are more thunderstorms coming for much of the area over the next several hours. But this updated time, O'Connell Falls 5:52, Stiles 6:02, Lena 6:03, Oconto that would be at the hospital. That would be at 6:15, or the hospital at 6:19, and the airport at 6:15, and Oconto, the downtown area of Oconto, at 6:20. Go ahead, Phil.
Okay. Do you have that's east at 45 that you have that?
I have it east at 39.
Okay.
I ran a storm track time. I had timed it about an hour ago.
Okay, gotcha.
So I had them running a little bit slower. Sometimes, occasionally, just so the folks at home can follow along here, occasionally when the algorithm for the radar grabs a thunderstorm, it grabs an individual point and then grabs a separate point a little bit further along, and those speeds can flex a little bit. And a lot of times, and I mean, not to age myself, but I will run storm tracks the way we used to, where you just time it out actually by the hour and then plug it in. But anyway.
We do have an emergency manager in Menominee County, Kashina. Report from Menominee Tribe Emergency Manager says trees and power lines down in Kashina.
Trees and power lines down in Kashina.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if we have any power outages in that area or if they would show up in the reports, but that'll be something to check in on.
And that would have been this storm. This
Yes.
same storm in circulation that's right now working its way through Oconto.
There is north side of that storm.
Oh, yeah. And there are correlations. There's been some research that has shown that there are links between tornado genesis and lightning spikes in activity. So it's not shocking that we're seeing other signs of potential tornadic activity here.
There's also signs, studies between positive lightning and large tornadoes especially. This is more of a mix. I wouldn't be as worried with this situation. Most lightning strikes are negative in charge, but when you get a positive charge, sometimes that indicates a distinct feature. Phil, this is lightning over the last 10 minutes. It must be absolutely nonstop north of Oconto Falls there. Lightning very intense through Oconto Falls, Gillett, Suring, up towards Pound and Crivets and High Falls. The exceptional amounts of lightning with this storm. Checking out the velocity once again, we continue with this couplet. It is still progressing just north of Highway 22, now just a little northeast of Oconto Falls, but that rotation is still there, just to the north of Stiles. Looks like it's going to cross 141 here shortly.
Yeah, it's probably on top of 141 as we speak.
Yeah.
Just, because the radar image is a minute or two old.
That's correct.
Not much more than that, but it is a minute or two old. And so, yeah, right on top of 141. And the most concerning areas, are basically between Highway 22 and Lena along 141 right now. So Little River, Oconto, everywhere between 141 and Oconto and that north or that eastern edge along the bay.
Yeah, even as far south as Pensacola, you need to take this seriously. The rotations with these storms, especially as it's approaching the bay or the lake, may adjust. You may see some change in the track of that location, the change in the track. But I will say that this thing has basically been running almost due east. It was out near Kashina and Legend Lake and moved just north of Gillett. Actually, it's probably just a little north of that line I just drew, but let's try to do that again. Basically, it came from Kashina and Legend Lake, and it's running in this fashion, basically just north of Oconto Falls and the north side of Oconto, but you can get some variation, especially as that's moving towards a body of water. Tornado warning continues for central Oconto County until 6:15. Phil, you have a storm track on that, correct?
I will put it back up.
Yeah, that would be great. I think we are currently looking at Max 1 and Max 3. Thank you for punching that up.
Yeah.
I appreciate showing the warnings. And as always, you can see our warnings running at the bottom of the screen with the radar involved. I would like to back this out real quickly.
So what you're seeing on the left is that storm track for the tornado warned storm in Oconto County. So near Oconto, it's going to be near Oconto within about 10 minutes, I would say. Cullen around 6:06. Potentially Sweetwater Bay around 6:09 if it kind of tracks up that way. So you have, if you are in or around Oconto, 10 minutes or less in order to be sheltering for this potential circulation, this potential tornado. One other thing I want to point out real quick, I'm backing out here. You're going to see me back out a little bit and start looking at the velocity. I just want to pay a little some attention to the southern end of this severe thunderstorm warning, where some of that stronger activity was earlier with the tornado warning. Now no longer tornado warning, but what we are seeing in some of the velocity out near Black Creek and just along Highway 54 to the north of Black Creek, we're picking up some pretty strong velocity spikes there on the leading edge of these thunderstorms.
Phil, oh, you're on regular. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. So this is the velocity here near Black Creek, and right along Highway 54. I believe these blues indicate that we've got at least 60-mile-per-hour winds. There you go, at least 70-mile-per-hour winds.
I'm running a query on that, Phil, and basically it's 60 to 70 in the blue.
Yep, and so
those blues, just west of Black Creek.
As that gets closer and closer to the radar site, that gets closer and closer to being accurate as to what's happening at ground level too.
Yeah, much closer to the ground.
So if you're in Black Creek, if you're along Highway 54, Black Creek.
Look, Phil,
you're going to see some strong straight line winds.
If I can jump in here, if we can flip it over to Weather 4 quickly, a different look at the wind speed, but this is the latest scan of the tornado-warned storm over central O'Connell County. Phil, could you check the IEM and see if we have anything coming up on that? But this is awfully impressive right now. I'm going to run a query on this, and basically, we are looking at winds moving away from the radar at 60, 65 miles per hour in that range. Winds moving towards the radar in the 40 mile per hour range. So 60 and 40, you take that roughly, obviously, that's about 100 mile an hour of circulation here. And this is a fairly tight area, especially radar-wise. We have seen some much more impressive circulations at times over the years, but this is a fairly impressive circulation showing that the winds moving away from the radar here, just to the north of Stiles and then just north of O'Connell Falls, winds are moving towards the radar and roughly a 100 mile per hour circulation there. Again, that is why we have a tornado warning active for this location and for central O'Connell County.
Patrick,
when we back out, yes, Phil.
From storm spotters, we had a report by the Clintonville Fire Department that there was, this is now going back 20 minutes, but there was around 5:30 a tornado reported near Clintonville. So it looks like that part of that storm may have indeed produced a tornado earlier near County Road O, south of Clintonville. So that was at about 5:30. That was almost a half hour ago at this point. So these storms do have a history of rotating and producing tornadoes, apparently. And the National Weather Service is also thinking about extending the severe thunderstorm warning into Brown County, which would include Green Bay. And we're seeing some pretty strong straight line winds that are now past Black Creek and Shiocton and are kind of running out into eastern Outagamie County toward the Brown County line.
We do have an update on the tornado warning, Phil, that just got updated by the National Weather Service. Tornado warning basically from Highway 141 eastward in O'Connell County. O'Connell Falls has been dropped from the warning, but it still includes O'Connell, Little River, and areas just to the north of Pensauke. That runs until 6:15. And again, it is that same circulation that has produced tree damage and some power outages in the Kashina area. Yeah, I would not be surprised at all to see a severe thunderstorm warning here for Brown County, and I don't think it's going to be long before they do that. No. Phil, as soon as you see that, just jump right in and let us know. But these thunderstorms are going to produce winds that could reach 60 or 70 miles per hour as they move in. And it is not going to be everyone that sees that kind of wind speed. It is going to be in spots. Again, there's a pretty distinct rotation with the south end of that storm, Phil. I'm going to pause this. We're zooming in pretty tight. Obviously, the tornado warning is the biggest concern at this point, but there's a pretty impressive rotation. I'm going to, again, we're showing that spike, and it is just north of Highway 22 and just west of the city of O'Connell. And that continues to push towards the east. Folks in the city of O'Connell, do we have the warning graphic right now There's the severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible for Brown County, Phil, until 6:45 and much of Oconto County. We are organizing some things here, so apologies if you picked that up. But again, a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes. Do we have and we have it on air. Thank you very much. We do have a line of thunderstorms. Phil, there's a bit of a rotation there near Black Creek, and it's probably from the blowout on the backside of that thunderstorm.
It looks extremely outflow driven at this point.
Yep.
So it may be kind of a side effect of that.
That's what I would imagine.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, this would mean that there are probably some very strong winds heading towards people in the Freedom area at this point. I'm trying to zoom in and get Freedom to pop up.
Yeah.
So it would be, yes, thank you. So it would be this area where we could see some very strong winds from just east of Black Creek down to town of Center. That would be moving towards the east and basically running into Freedom at about 6:11. So that's about 10 minutes from now. Oneida at 6:19. Hobart. So this would basically include the southern half of the Green Bay metro area. So Ashwaubenon, Alloway, basically East Green Bay, Bellevue, De Pere, all the way down to about Wrightstown, where you would see these strong thunderstorm winds pushing east. A lot of times when a thunderstorm collapses, it pushes out an outflow boundary, and that would be theoretically, that at least that it's spitballing it here, that's what I think we're seeing on the radar there. But also, as those little waves push away from the main line, something you need to watch for a tighter rotation as well. Yeah. Main line is just out to the northwest.
And I'm seeing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds still getting picked up on velocity in that eastern Outagamie County past Black Creek.
Yes, and could we take a look at Lambocam very quickly? This Lambocam is getting very dark, and then we'll come back to Weather 4 after Lambocam. So you can see, nothing distinct in here other than a large dark slate gray that's moving in from the west. Trying to get an update on Weather 4 on the latest on that tornadic warm storm for the city of Oconto. And let's go ahead and take Weather 4 then. So you can see storms are coming in, and Lambocam showing that as thunderstorms are moving in from the west. But look at this loop. This is of the wind speeds, of the velocity on the radar. And you notice that little couple where the air is moving away, where the air is moving towards the radar. But again, look at the motion on this. We had it from near Kashina and Legend Lake, right north of Oconto Falls, and then it looks like it's going to run right out into the bay. Right now it is just on the northwest side of Oconto. If you are living in the city of Oconto right now, especially through the city of Oconto and up to Little River, you are under a tornado warning. That continues. I'm going to have to pause this. This motion is making me sick here. And apparently, we have the Fox 11 Storm Chaser is out and moving. I'm not sure who is in the Fox 11 Storm Chaser or where they are, but maybe we can get an update. Does it? No. Okay. Do we know where the Storm Chaser is? All right, thank you. So the Fox 11 Storm Chaser is heading out, trying to intercept some of those storms as they're coming through. Again, very tight rotation there on the northwest side of Oconto. City of Oconto still under a tornado warning. Please take precaution if you are in the path of that storm. Other severe thunderstorm warnings out. I'm going to throw the warnings on screen real quick here. We'll back this out. Severe thunderstorm warning for another 10 minutes for eastern Oconto, basically from Pulaski up to Marinette. So this is a wide-ranging severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah. And then the tornado warning is literally the city of Oconto up to almost to the Marinette County line. Yeah.
Little River is up there.
Little River, city of Oconto, and just north of Pensauke. And then we have a severe thunderstorm warning for much of Outagamie and all of Brown County. That, in fact, for almost another 40 minutes. But with that thunderstorm, that complex, basically you are going to see torrential rain and you are going to see some gusty winds. The gusty winds are not going to impact the entire county, but we will have spots where we have wind gusts that could reach, say, 50 to 70 miles per hour as that line moves through. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the chat, see if we have any updates. And I got logged out here.
We have a...
I'll tell you what, maybe we could have some of the news anchors, if we have any reports of damage or power outages. No, we don't have anything. Okay, so we are getting some reports from the Menominee Tribe Emergency Manager that we have trees and power lines down in Kashina, and they're going to review the cause of damage with that, but right now it is unknown. Had a wind gust reported at a weather station in Clintonville to 60 miles per hour. We are indicating 60 mile per hour winds and maybe penny-size hail with the storms that are moving through. Tornado observed. Phil, I didn't catch this earlier. Tornado with that's 606, so that's brand new. Brand new. The confirmed tornado located over Oconto, 15 miles southwest of Marinette, moving east at 45. The tornado reported between Lena and Oconto by the public at 6 p.m. So we have a confirmed tornado, and again, it's that same area that we have been tracking. Phil, can you take control of the radar here real quick?
Yes.
I believe we are on weather 4.
Okay. Yes.
That is correct. Okay, Phil, secondarily, that area to the south of Black Creek is looking more concerning,
and
that's heading towards De Pere.
That is between Freedom, it's between County S and 54 north of Freedom.
That's dead west of Oneida.
Yeah, and
I don't like the way that looks on the radar.
No, neither do I. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that.
Confirmed tornado, though. We have a confirmed tornado located over Oconto. So they say over Oconto, but obviously the Oconto city limits are pretty big, and you can see it in Oconto. It could be in a different location. But if you are in the city of Oconto, please take cover now. We have the safety plan up on the side of the screen. Basically, if you can get to your basement, that is the best place. If you cannot, what you need to do is put as many walls between you and the outside as possible and avoid windows. You can see the rotation. Phil, could you use the straight velocity, not storm relative?
Yes.
Thank you.
And can we...
Because it's dead north of the radar site there. So
can we switch to weather 1 on the other side of that?
Yes, there you go. You got it. Thank you. So again, folks in the city of Oconto and especially up towards Little River, see the wind speeds showing that couplet. This would be right almost over Interstate. Is it Highway 41?
Highway 41 there.
It's Highway 41 up there. I think the interstate's done, but
near Little River, running along basically the bay shore in that extreme eastern corner of Oconto County, right where it switches over into Marinette County, kind of where that bay shore turns to the east.
Yes.
North of Oconto looks like the most concerning part of that thunderstorm, where, as Patrick mentioned, there was a confirmed report of a tornado on the ground. So that's near Little River. And the tornado was confirmed between Lena and Oconto.
Okay, so you're seeing that also, yes. Yeah, between Lena and Oconto at 6 p.m. So that was almost 10 minutes ago, but that's what we were expecting, that storm moving towards the east. And so the rotation there, still dangerous. It is going to move into the bay soon. Folks in Oconto, folks in Little River, please take precaution at this time. Could we take a look at Lambocam really quick? You can see the thunderstorms are moving into Green Bay. We have that is a severe thunderstorm warning for Brown County, including Green Bay, De Pere, down towards Wrightstown. That severe thunderstorm warning runs until 6:45 tonight, as those scattered thunderstorms are pushing towards the south and southeast. I'm not sure what source there we go. We have Lambocam up on the side there, and Phil is. Which camera do you got there?
I've got an Avenue Cam that I'm looking off to the north toward this. I'm also going to re-aim Lambocam.
That is a good idea. We're going to shove the Lambocam a little bit to the side here, kind of get an idea of that storm moving in.
Well, this is looking down toward that southern edge where that curl is.
Yes. And I think, you have it up on 1. Okay.
So what you're seeing here on Lambo Cam is the front. We're looking south now, basically down the Fox Valley, looking toward where that curl is, that push of potentially severe winds that we were talking about being concerned with.
That would be about that would be about my biggest concern for strong winds is in that area. If we could go to weather 4, please. Weather 4 and show, we're going to take a look at a couple of different things here. One, we have the severe thunderstorm warning that continues for Brown County until 6:45, I believe. But it is this push. This is very close to the radar site, and this is concerning, and it looks like there is a little ball of some stronger winds there just north of Freedom pushing east. So town of Lawrence, De Pere, southern side of Ashwaubenon, Oneida, Hobart, over towards Bellevue eventually, but I think you could see some very strong winds here as this pushes towards the east. I'm going to put the storm relative on. Maybe we can, you know what, I'm going to throw the warnings on. So this is the warning in all of Brown County, eastern half of Outagamie County, basically. Severe thunderstorm warning for Brown County is until 6:45. We do continue with the tornado warning for Little River and Oconto. That is until 6:15. Still immense amounts of lightning on that storm, especially from Oconto northward. And then we are seeing a little bit of an increase in lightning out towards, well, that would be Cicero, the Navarino National Wildlife Area. West of Pittsfield, we're seeing an increase in the lightning. But it's this area that's moving in from the west. I'm going to put this in a loop so you can see how fast it's moving. This is 1 hour. So in the last hour, it has moved from west of Shawano to just, to about Howard. And it does look like the thunderstorms are now moving into the western portions of Brown County. Again, this is more my concern for strong winds around Freedom and Center. It does look like there would be lighter winds around Hobart and Swamico, but you are going to see some lightning and some torrential rains with these storms moving in. The rain rate with these thunderstorms, the very high dew points that we have in place, could approach 2 inches per hour in the stronger thunderstorms. And we're seeing that in widespread areas through northeast Wisconsin as this line is moving through.
Patrick, I want to show people something.
Yes.
So if we could flip back over to weather 1. I want to show some people something on the radar. If you're in the town of Lawrence, if you're in South De Pere, basically, I would really batten down the hatches because there could be a really nasty gust of wind coming through. Because I want to go back.
I see that.
I want to go back a scan on the radar here. And so what we're looking at here is there's that little dark blue dot, this little bullet of really strong winds where those velocities have popped up, almost to 70 miles per hour, 50 to 70 mile per hour winds. Radar indicated that was north of Freedom just a few minutes ago. And then as I kind of move this forward, you can see that area of stronger winds start to run out, basically due east, running between town of Lawrence and De Pere. So if you were in De Pere in the town of Lawrence, you could be seeing some very strong, potentially, winds up gusts. I would not be shocked to see stronger than 60 mile per hour winds potentially with this thunderstorm as it moves its way on through.
Yeah, and actually
we've got a good view of that on our Lambo Cam.
Yeah, what we're seeing on Lambo Cam would kind of back that up. I think you're going to see an outflow from those thunderstorms, but you could see some very strong winds as the thunderstorm collapses out. Secondarily, Phil, the tornado warning has been canceled for Oconto County. Okay. So we had a confirmed tornado, but that circulation is now over the west end of the bay. If you are out on the bay right now, I would get to shelter, about a half hour ago. If you're out on the bay, it's going to be rough over the next half hour. But even if you're up near Sturgeon Bay, you need to get into shelter and get things kind of tied down immediately. Yeah. We also have some gusty winds there, outflow boundary, Phil, blowing through the Appleton area. Let's go to weather 4. Let's go to weather 4, and you can see that we have an outflow boundary here blowing through the Appleton area. That's this fine green line that's running down towards Lake Poygan. That continues to push towards the southeast. So I'm going to pause this so you can get a good look at that little green line. So this is an outflow boundary. indicating that these thunderstorms are pushing cooler air southward. That is going to help you out and kind of break some of the humidity, but it could also spawn a few new thunderstorms. And with this southerly push, there's a good chance that we see some of these thunderstorms making it down into the EAA area. Folks at EAA, if you're in town visiting, you are in Winnebago County, and we will make sure that we keep tabs on these as it's moving close to you. Also, the National Weather Service is centered there. They have a center at EAA. The wind speeds high in spots, but this is pretty common, especially as the radar is being overtaken by the thunderstorm. So sometimes you see a little collapse off in some of the wind speeds, but I'm going to take it out a little bit wider. You see that outflow boundary, but it's kind of running away from the radar, so you're not picking up anything terribly. Sorry, I'm trying to pick a different radar thing. You're not picking up anything terribly.
Our Scray Hill cam also has
interesting.
a great view of
We
these
have
storms
you
as
got
they-
it set at Scray Hill.
Yeah.
Could we take a look at Lambo Cam and then take a look at our Scray Hill Cam if you guys are able?
Scray Hill should be cam 37.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you know where the Fox 11 Storm Chaser is right now? Okay. Okay. So let's. I can't see. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. So there you see Fox 11 Storm Chaser out working through some of the thunderstorms. Not sure exactly where the Storm Chaser is, but hopefully I can figure that out here before too long. Just judging by where it's driving, I'm guessing it's either north or northwest of Green Bay. Lambo Cam, you could see the thunderstorm moving through, and it is approaching. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for Brown County until 6:45. And Appleton Cam, this is Avenue Cam. Phil, which direction is Avenue Cam looking?
Northeast.
Looking towards the north.
Toward Green Bay.
North. Oh, so that's looking towards Green Bay.
Yes.
They're on Highway 29 between Bondwell and Pulaski.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. So the Fox 11 Storm Chaser is out just west of Pulaski, heading towards Bondwell. Are we sending them to Kashina? Okay. Maybe, yeah.
Well, yeah, there was
Yes.
that confirmed tornado at Clintonville. So.
Oh, I'll tell you what, let's check in with Mark and Michelle at the news desk. That shot at Scray's Hill camera is awfully impressive.
Yeah.
Big thunderstorm moving into Brown County right now. Be prepared for winds possibly as high as 60 or 65 miles per hour as this moves in. Right now we're going to check in with Mark Leland and Michelle Melby at the news desk.
Yeah, Patrick, you were talking about the Kashina area. Alliant Energy is reporting about 2,000 plus outages there in the Kashina area right now. And we also know from We Energies, they have roughly two different locations there for a cumulative total of more than 1,000 outages in the Oconto Falls area as well right now. And then there is another smattering of outages here and there, but those are the two largest that we could see right now from We Energies and Alliant Energy.
But yeah, that smattering kind of follows the storm's path, and as it goes through, I suspect that that number could increase again. That Kashina number is the largest in our area so far, to keep in mind. And you know, we've been hearing from people just whether it's text messages or on Facebook that they can see that dark cloud that you're talking about and that you've been showing on Lambo Cam, kind of almost getting ready and bracing to get into their area as they are seeing it on the horizon coming their way, Patrick.
I'm looking at the map that you guys have up. That is a large percentage of Menominee County that's out. And obviously most of the population in Menominee County is living in the Kashina area. So that is a fairly significant power outage. We have a crew heading in that direction, by the way. We do have thunderstorms that continue to move through the area. This is a live look right now at our Lambo Cam. Phil, look at the base.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. I would be concerned with this, the very high dew points that you could see. Not only are we going to see some pretty gusty winds as this moves in, but you are going to see absolutely torrential rain.
Can we stay on Lambo Cam?
Yeah, let's stay on Lambo Cam here for a few minutes.
Bear with me here. I think I
Phil,
see something.
Phil is driving Lambo Cam, so just be patient. He's trying to find something, look at something. I'm actually working on a different computer, not exactly sure what Phil is trying to do.
Focus.
Yeah, it'll focus. Give it a second, Phil. We'll get it. But some torrential rain is expected as these thunderstorms move in. Phil, there is a little bit of a circulation with that area that came through Black Creek. It just looks like it's been eaten up by the outflow boundary. So, which is good news. That's going to help us out. That's probably going to stop from, seeing more in the way of any tornadic circulations. But there's definitely a circulation, probably at elevation, with that storm, and that would be near town of Lawrence, the south end of De Pere, down towards Wrightstown. So between De Pere and Wrightstown, it looks like we have a pretty strong storm moving through with some very strong winds right now. That is going to transition to exceptionally heavy rain as these thunderstorms move in. Phil, you want to back that out or focus or something?
Well, what you can see here is you can see the current. I'm trying to keep it in focus, but you can see that this is looking down toward De Pere and Ledgeview.
Yeah.
You can see the curtains of rain just whipping through.
Oh, is that what we're trying to look at?
Yeah.
Yeah, back it up a little bit. I think you just might be a little too tight. It's just the camera's bouncing too hard because the winds are too strong. We've come out to boxes there with Weather 1. Phil, that's pretty good right there.
Yeah, all right.
So what Phil's trying, explain what you're trying to show, Phil.
Yeah, so we're looking at this push of really strong winds that's sweeping through, De Pere, town of Lawrence, out toward Bellevue, and you could kind of see it sweeping through the treetops and the buildings just a little bit ago. Unfortunately, I kind of lost the good visual before I could get the camera to focus in fast enough, but you can still see these rain curtains that are kind of falling or down from the cloud base here. There's some likely very strong winds that are running through South De Pere at the moment. And you can actually see the curtains of rain even in the sky moving.
Yeah, and again, that's right out and ahead of that. Oh, yeah, you can see it pretty well right there.
Yeah.
Do we have our Scray Hill camera that maybe we're picking up good stuff on that also? But yeah, Lambo Cam showing just curtains of rain, very strong winds with these thunderstorms that are moving through. We have the severe thunderstorm warning in place. Oh, yeah, Phil, there you set up Scray Hill very nicely. So Scray Hill, this is our Fox 11 tower cam at Scray Hill, looking back towards the southwest. This is kind of overlooking, this would be looking more towards Wrightstown, correct?
Yes, out down that direction.
Yeah, so looking kind of south of De Pere, more towards the Wrightstown area. And for those of you who are not familiar, Scray Hill would be basically on the southwest edge of the Green Bay metro area, basically the the far east side, southeast side of the Green Bay metro area, basically the east side of De Pere. So this is looking back almost towards Appleton, but you can see the big thunderstorms kind of rolling in and the sheets of rain with that. You are going to see some intense rainfall amounts. Okay, we have an update, it looks like, on the warnings. I'm going to Phil, I'm not sure what you're doing on here.
I'm just zooming in on the front edge of that rain as it sweeps in.
Okay, you go ahead and do that. I'm trying to figure out where, oh, here we go. So we got 3 up. I'm going to go ahead and recenter this. So what we have right now is they have updated the severe thunderstorm warning for Brown County. Again, they are indicating that there is a chance for a tornado with this storm, but right now we're not seeing anything specific or any distinct circulations with that storm. That severe thunderstorm warning runs until 6:45. Could see winds gusting to 60 miles per hour with that storm. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning for southern sections of Menominee County, Michigan, and much of, the eastern half of Marinette County. Those warnings both continue until 7 p.m. with the thunderstorms that are moving through. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at those warnings, but I would like to throw, I got to grab the palette once again. Oh, there's just too much going on. All right, that would be wonderful. Thank you. So we're gonna kick it back over to Weather 1, Phil. That's for you.
All right. So yeah, we've been keeping an eye on several warnings that are still in effect. So if you're in Porterfield, Peshtigo, Marinette, you're going to see some very strong winds in short order here. And we have also been keeping a close eye on obviously Brown County and Outagamie County as this line continues to drop south and east through those counties. I would say, so let's start out by taking a look at the storm that's up near Marinette, stretching back out over the bay. So if you are in Egg Harbor and Sister Bay, I would keep a very close eye on this thunderstorm as it crosses the bay. It is going to have some really strong winds as that whips out across the open waters of the bay.
Yep.
There's not as much friction as there is over land. You don't have the trees, the buildings, things like that. So those winds are going to be howling as they come in off the bay. If you're in Egg Harbor, Gibraltar, Sister Bay, Ephraim, those spots. So just make sure you're keeping a close eye on this storm. Looks like Brussels, you've already seen that strong wind gust move its way on through. And then we still have this persistent, it looks like a hook, but really it's almost more of kind of an outflow signature here.
Just
you got this
east.
little thing just south of De Pere.
Yep.
And that's pretty much pointing, toward, just north of Denmark there. So it's kind of out in that area between.
Phil, there are some, I think it's going to be sporadic, but I think there could be some wind damage reports in there, especially that would be along Highway 32 at this point. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to it's odd because this would be moving perpendicular to the radar beam at this point.
Yeah, and there was a report of a 66-mile-an-hour wind gust in Seymour as it moved through.
As that moved through, yeah, and then that's what we were expecting, is Seymour, Freedom, and then eventually that's that same cluster now. That's probably like town of Morrison up towards, between Morrison and Glenmore and De Pere, heading towards Denmark.
Yeah. Also, it looks like the National Weather Service is drawing up a warning for Door County. Remember, we were just talking about
that cell
we were
moving
concerned
across.
about that cell just screaming across the bay, and it looks like the National Weather Service is concerned with the same thing.
If we could take a look at Weather 4, I would like to point out two things. One, the area that's moving across into Door County. So you can see that cluster of thunderstorms, that strong line, and this had produced tornado, at least one tornado. It may be more than that with that circulation that had moved through Oconto and Marinette, or Oconto and Menominee County, but that's now moving out across the bay. But that's still a very strong thunderstorm cluster moving towards Door County. And again, Phil, when they issue that warning,
They've just issued it. So
Okay.
until 7:30, there's a warning for Door County. Severe thunderstorm warning.
yes, thank you. Okay, severe thunderstorm warning. That's for Door until 7:30. It's 7:30, did you say? Yeah, 7:30. And then we also have this cluster of thunderstorms that's moving through Brown County. One thing I wanted to point out was the rainfall rate on these storms. Rainfall could be in excess of 2 inches an hour through these thunderstorms. And the culprit is this exceptional amount of moisture that we have had in the area today. Dew points were sitting at the dew points were sitting at nearly 77 just before the newscast at 5 p.m. And you can see that they have been producing some very heavy rainfall. Last 3 hours, that's estimated on Weather 4 there. The last 3 hours estimating rainfall over an inch and a stripe from Wausau to Breed up towards Stevenson. And inside that stripe, we have seen some 1.5 to 2 inch amounts, pretty common, basically from Wausau through parts of Menominee County, Oconto County, and up into Marinette County. I would not be surprised to see some of that heavier rainfall sliding down into Outagamie and Brown County as that line is now moving further to the south, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as heavy as it is over the Northwoods where the heaviest rain has been falling. Still a lot of lightning with that storm. Marinette, Menominee, and then eventually that's going to cross across the bay and into the northern sections of Door County. That's why we have the warning out right now. Some of the current warnings that we have in place. Hi, Kaylee. Some of the current warnings we have in place. Severe thunderstorm warning For Door County, that runs for another hour until 7:30. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Brown and eastern Outagamie County. Basically, it's all of Brown County. That runs for another 15 minutes until 6:45. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings out for Marinette County for another 30 minutes. That's until 7 p.m. And Menominee County, Michigan, at least the southern half of Menominee County, Michigan, that is also for about another 30 minutes until 7 p.m.
Scray Hill Cam, you can see that rain and the gust front moving in right now if you want to take that quick.
Yeah, let's take a look
Should
at
be
that.
cam
You can see the
37.
sheet of rain moving
Yep.
across the farm fields.
Yep.
It's actually a really good look there, Phil. We have thunderstorms now, and this is in basically Ledgeview. It's basically the southeast corner of De Pere, or just southeast of the city of De Pere. So you can see the very heavy rain now pushing in. And again, cluster of thunderstorms moving through.
And take a look at Lambeau Cam right now, if we can pull that up.
I can't even, is that what's up?
Is it? Oh yeah, look at that. It is pouring outside.
Yeah, it looks like it's, I hopefully we can get a time lapse of that as the rain moved in, but yeah, that's taking visibility down to, boy, maybe a quarter mile.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we can't see much past.
Yeah. Trying to get a view of the storm from our.
See about 2-3 blocks. There. So here's the Fox 11 Fieldhouse, Phil. Fox 11 Fieldhouse. We're looking just literally across Lambeau Field. We can see the facade of the Lambeau Field atrium, but nothing behind that. It is really raining that hard. I am seeing a little bit of a swing in some of the equipment on our Scrays Hill Cam as well. All right, so we have the radar obviously showing these lines of thunderstorms moving through for many locations. This especially, Kewaunee County, Door County, Brown County, really the last areas of concern for severe weather, but we are going to fill in with some areas of heavy rain. Matter of fact, it does look like very heavy rain falling in parts of the area. The good news here is that I don't think this is going to get all too much further south. I do think you could see a scattered thunderstorm in the Oshkosh area, but I don't think it's going to be much further south than that. Folks at EAA, you have seen a gust front moving in. I'm going to zoom in on the Oshkosh area just for folks at EAA. You are in Winnebago County. If you are at EAA, you are going to see this little fine gust front, this little green line is the gust front. That's colder air blowing out away from the thunderstorms. That is going to cool you down a bit and bring through some gusty winds. The heavier rain and the thunderstorms will likely stay off to your north, or it will be close, but a few of these isolated thunderstorms back near Watoma could be moving through your area.
The National Weather Service says 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts could come out of the northwest at the AirVenture grounds right around 6:40. So you got about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that, and again, yeah, it's with that. I'm trying to see which source we're on here. Yeah, that would be that fine line that's coming. And then again, you'll see gusty winds and the temperatures will drop, but the heavier thunderstorms are probably going to stay off to your north. Do we have a look at Avenue Cam? I'm zoomed in on the Appleton area, and you can see the current warnings that we have in place. Avenue Cam doesn't look all that bad as of now, but the thunderstorms are just west and just north of downtown Appleton, and I think it's going to really take over here over about the next 10 minutes at most. So let's keep this up and keep in mind that those thunderstorms are moving right into downtown Appleton. It is storming in Greenville, Kaukauna, but the heavier thunderstorms here just west of our camera location on College Avenue. But we've just had a pretty good lightning strike here in De Pere, or here in Green Bay, looking out towards the north. Also, lines of thunderstorms here right up and down Interstate 41. Have we had any word on traffic on 41? Nope. Okay. Phil, do you have any updates from the National Weather Service chat?
The look at the EAA AirVenture grounds was the last as of just a minute ago.
Okay.
Looks like they are Yeah, just keeping an eye on AirVenture. Obviously, you know, thousands of people there. It's a massive, massive gathering.
Yes.
And a lot of people vulnerable with campers and tents.
Yeah, it's a lot easier even if you're in a hotel room than if you're in a tent, especially if you have very strong winds coming in. I see you're working on the Door County camera there. Thank you.
Yes, if we want to take that should be
yeah,
on
and I'm
cam
looking at the
34.
winds. I'm looking at the wind speeds here coming into Door County, and again, it appears that we have very strong winds moving through the very east side of the bay, just northeast of Sturgeon Bay. So this would be. There may be some rotation in this. It's a little tough to tell. Phil,
Where are we looking?
and I'm looking the two different things. One, I'm looking at the wind speeds here and trying to get a glimpse of what's happening
In Door County.
for Door County. It does look like very strong winds are about to move on shore. Not picking up a whole lot of circulation, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's a good thing. This is the area that had the circulation as it came across Oconto County, but it does appear that things have calmed, at least for now.
Yeah, some very strong winds are about to move across Sturgeon Bay. I can see if we have that Door County Maritime Museum
Yeah, it's up.
camera.
Oh, it was up.
Up. That is Manitowoc. Is that cam 35 or 34? Because okay, so we are now. Yep. So here's Sturgeon Bay. This is on the
Yeah.
Maritime Museum.
Look at the flag on the lower central side of that screen.
See the camera shaking now.
Yeah, the
clouds
flag
moving.
is just whipping. And we're picking up wind speeds. Actually, it's even in the southern sections of Door County
Forestville.
now. Is there a warning for Kewaunee? There's no
No.
warning for Kewaunee County, but folks in Algoma, folks in Kewaunee, you need to treat this as a serious thunderstorm, just like you would treat a severe thunderstorm warning. Head inside, stay away from windows. There are going to be very strong winds moving, especially through the northern sections of Kewaunee County. Starting to pick it up on the radar, and I'm going to back out. We're looking at the wind speeds on the radar more than anything today, and that's just because of the circulations that we have seen. But there's very strong winds at the leading edge of these thunderstorms moving into Door County and moving through the northern portions of Kewaunee County. So would not surprise me to see a warning for especially the northern northwest portions of Kewaunee County. But again, just moving into Sturgeon Bay, you can see the leading edge of the storms, Sevastopol, Sturgeon Bay, and areas.
Oh, they
north.
may have. They just issued one, I think, for Kewaunee and northern Manitowoc, because I was just going to say, similar to Kewaunee County, if you're in northern Manitowoc County, Cooperstown, Maribel, Mishicot, Two Creeks, you could see some pretty strong straight line winds as well. I've just been keeping an eye on the velocity there. So wind gusts up over 60 miles per hour, potentially in those communities, because they just issued another severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some 60-mile-per-hour winds on the radar, Phil, in the southeast portions of Brown County.
Yep.
Just picking that up now. I am having the worst time today. All right, let's go. That would be basically town of Morrison, city of De Pere, town of Morrison, Ledgeview, basically the exact area we were watching on the cameras.
Can we go to Sturgeon
move
Bay
through.
camera again? Is it cam 35?
Yeah, do we have weather 4 up in the? Oh, we have weather 4 up. That was great.
Look at this camera getting buffeted around by the winds. So this is what we've got moving through Door County right now. This is a look from the Maritime Museum, technically looking to the west as this storm is moving through. And
Yeah.
you can see the winds knocking that camera around.
You can see the flag in the lower part of the screen there, also bumping around significantly. But we have very strong thunderstorms, not only for there. It looks like exceptionally heavy rain right now on the east side of Green Bay. I would like to take a look at the rainfall rate real quick and show you that some of these rainfall rates, Phil, exceeding 3 inches an hour in portions of, well, that would be from around UWGB down through Bellevue and then arcing back to about Wrightstown. So some exceptionally heavy amounts of rain moving through De Pere. And this, again, this is due to the very high humidity environment that we had during the day today, where we had dew points in the mid 70s for most of the day. But look at the cluster of thunderstorms, the band from Marinette and Stevenson down through Sturgeon Bay all the way down to Appleton. And I'm zooming this out so you can, I'm gonna take the lightning off real quick so you can get a good look at that. But you can see this cluster, and in a cluster like this, Phil, in the wider view, the strongest winds you would anticipate would be literally coming out on the east side, basically coming out like that, and down like this. So you would expect the strongest winds to be right in here as this storm system is moving towards the east-southeast. And that's kind of what we have been seeing. You would also expect the circulation and the tornadic stuff to be right in this area as it's moving through. So, you know, the storms eventually, they may look convoluted on the radar at times, but eventually they do behave, and well, not behave, but necessarily they do as you would expect them to, as you know, meteorologically you would expect them to.
I want to point something out here. You know, we've been watching the storms that have been moving through Brown County and approaching Kewaunee and northern Manitowoc County. If we could go to, thank you, Weather 1. Take a look at the velocity that we're picking up near Denmark now. These are radar indicated wind speeds. You hit those bright yellows and you're talking about radar indicated winds not far from the radar site of about 80 miles per hour is what we're looking out there.
Concerning.
And that's in Denmark basically right now.
That is that area that we were watching. It's the same area that we've been watching where it came through Freedom and
Seymour.
it came through Seymour.
Yep.
Yeah, was that an 81 that you marked there?
I did, yes. I'll go in a little tighter, see if I can.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could back out a little bit. Because it's not only Denmark.
84?
Yeah. So this is not that far from the radar. So you are looking at the potential for 75 mile per hour winds with that. And again, like we were saying, as that cluster is blowing away from the main thunderstorm, yep.
Yeah, look at that.
Walk that through. So if you continue to walk that out, Denmark, Mishicot, Two Creeks, you need to take precautions and treat this just as you would for an extremely dangerous severe thunderstorm warning. That is concerning. Phil, if we could take our Sturgeon Bay camera, you can see exceptional rain falling on the Sturgeon Bay camera also. And take a look at some of the wind gusts up in Kewaunee and Dorr also, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's, we're just going to track up that way. And, you know, we've been seeing some of those wherever we have this color table designed very specifically so that the stronger winds jump out at us. And so some of the winds that we're also seeing now working across the northern end of Door County, so south of Egg Harbor and interior Door County. What we're seeing here, and this is getting farther away from the radar site admittedly, but we are still picking up some radar indicated winds up close to 70 miles per hour. That's working just south of Egg Harbor, just off to the west of Jacksonport. So if you are in Egg Harbor, if you are in Jacksonport, you could be dealing with some 50 to 60, easily 50, 60 mile per hour winds, perhaps 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. And those are going to keep racing up the Door Peninsula out potentially toward Bailey's Harbor. Gibraltar, you want to keep an eye on these storms as well, and this push of very strong winds specifically that we're watching right here. It's this backwards C shape that's on the leading edge.
Phil, couple of updates. One, the tornado reported 4 miles east-southeast of Lena. That's where the tornado was spotted. Beyond that, we had a 66 mile per hour wind gust in Seymour. Train spotter reporting 66 mile per hour wind gust. We also had a wind gust of 47 miles per hour at the National Weather Service in Green Bay. That's at Austin Straubel Airport. Beyond that, we have had wind damage, siding and roof damage to several structures in Black Creek. So again, it is that cluster that you are looking at right now that has been producing some intense winds, Phil, and it's that same area. And I'm more concerned about it now than we were when it was over Seymour and Black Creek.
Yeah.
Because the radar presentation on this is significantly more impressive than it was just an hour ago. So it is that area moving through Denmark, Cooperstown, Maribel. Gibson, down toward Mishicot and Two Creeks. So northern sections of Manitowoc County, southeast Brown County, southern half of Kewaunee County, that is very concerning. Some good news here, severe thunderstorm warning has expired for Brown and Outagamie, and it has been canceled for Marinette County. So we're trimming back on the west side of this, but on the leading edge of it, still very concerning. I'll tell you what, Phil, let's check in with our Fox 11 News anchors, with Mark Leland and Michelle Melby. Check in with them on some of the damage reports and some of the power outages that we have in place.
Yeah, we're going to let Patrick get a drink of water, and both he and Phil, and catch their breath. We want to let you know that we do have crews on their way to the Kashina area and Gillette areas, and we'll have reports from them tonight. Earlier, we did have a confirmed tornado on the ground, so just a reminder for everyone of what to do if you are ever in the path. The safest place you can be is the basement. And if you don't have a basement, go to the innermost room of your home. Avoid windows, doors, outdoor walls. See where that is. Cover yourself with blankets or a mattress as well for protection. But again, the basement is that safest and best place to be.
Yeah, let's take a live look now at some of the power outages in our area. Right now, we can tell you that more than half of the customers in Menominee County are without power. Another 2,000 are without power in Oconto County, and nearly 2,400 without power in Brown County. It's 1,700 in Green Bay and about 650 in Hobart, likely from these high winds that Patrick and Phil have been talking about. Fox 11 is getting a look at some of the damage from these storms. These photos right here were sent to us by viewers north of Manawa. In one, you can see a portion of a tree split off there and a shed damage in another photo right there. If you do see severe weather and can do so safely, getting these photos, so we'd love for you to do that and send it to us, your photos and videos. You can scan the QR code you see on your screen to send them to us using the Chime In feature of our website.
And a reminder to download the Fox 11 weather app to keep you safe and informed. Scan the QR code that you see there on your screen to download that app. It is going to be your very best tool to keep you and your family safe before that severe weather strikes. And again, taking a look at the power outages in the state. Oh, I guess we already did that, so we're going to check back in with Patrick. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, especially some of that safety information, guys. Very torrential rain we're watching on our Sturgeon Bay camera. And also, we have very strong thunderstorms moving through. I'm going to zoom in a couple of things to show you. First off, wide view. And I'm going to take the lightning off. There is exceptional amount of lightning, especially in the northern parts of the area. But you can see this cluster moving through, and it is a line. And that line has bowed out. That is very commonly associated with wind damage. So you can see strong thunderstorms right now, especially from Gibraltar and northern parts of Door County through Jacksonport. Very heavy rain in Sturgeon Bay right now. Strong thunderstorm moving through Algoma, just to a hair west of Kewaunee, and then extending down through Denmark back towards Kaukauna, Appleton, Neenah, Menasha. But notice the gust front has moved through Oshkosh, but most of the thunderstorms look like they're going to stay right at or just north of Oshkosh. I don't think it'll make it much further south than that. Now, biggest concern right now, and it's something Phil was recently pointing out, is the winds, and especially the winds in this cluster moving just northwest of Mishicot. So between Denmark and Mishicot, I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. This would be Maribel.
Maribel and Cooperstown are right now taking these winds on the chin. The winds are just moving into Melnick and Kellnersville. Francis Creek, Mishicot, you're next, probably within the next 5-10 minutes here. And we're picking up some radar indicated winds that are well up over 60 miles per hour.
Yeah. Phil, in the area that you kind of see highlighted in the gold is generally 60 to 70 mile per hour winds.
Correct.
So, and again, as Phil was explaining, we colorize our radar in a very specific way so we can read it on the fly and we know what to be looking for. Okay. So look at the extremely heavy rain in eastern Brown County right now. Folks along the East River or smaller creeks and streams, be cautious for some quick river rises, creek rises, because the high dew points from today leading to exceptionally high rainfall rates, in some cases over 2 inches per hour falling through much of the area. And if we back out the 3-hour radar, this is just taking a little bit to update. That's the one. The radar estimated rain over the last hour is generally a ½ inch to an inch over a wide swath of Outagamie, Wapaka, Brown, Oconto, Marinette counties. Some of the heaviest rain up near Stevenson. Again, in an environment like this, when it's raining this hard, be aware for some street flooding. Also be aware for the potential for rapid rises in creeks and streams.
Patrick, if I can grab this real quick.
Absolutely.
So I also want to give special mention. We're talking about those winds in northern Manitowoc County. Bailey's Harbor, you're about to get popped with some wind gusts right up to around 60 or 70 miles per hour as well. Take a look at all those golds that we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
So if you're in Bailey's Harbor, or if you're up in the northern end of Door County, Gibraltar, Sister Bay, within the next 5 to 20 minutes here, you are going to be getting some very strong wind gusts, potentially well over 60 miles per hour.
Phil, can you hold it in that view and switch back and forth from current radar back to wind speed, just so folks can get an idea of where that sits in the thunderstorm?
Yeah.
So it's right behind the leading edge of the rain, it looks like.
So you're going to get a little rain, and then
the big pusher. And notice if you go back to the radar again, and we're just kind of doing this on the fly, obviously, but notice that little bulge right where that strong wind gust is, where the heavier rain is pushing out. Sometimes that's a symptom of a thunderstorm trying to collapse. You get heavy rain, you get cold air that's trapped up high in the thunderstorm, and it loses some of its lift and then starts collapsing out. And sometimes that can cause some very high winds when it's kind of crashing down towards the ground.
Yeah, so Bailey's Harbor dealing with that again, getting close to Gibraltar, Ephraim, Sister Bay up here. So if you are in northern Door County, you are going to see some very strong winds in short order here.
And that's the other area.
And then the other area of concern is basically running down Highway 147 past town of Gibson into Mishicot, Kellnersville. You're seeing some very strong winds, potentially up, I would say up to potentially 70 miles per hour based on what we're seeing on radar here. I would not be shocked.
Yes. Yeah. Mishicot, Francis Creek. Eventually, that works down towards Two Rivers. But and again, that is maybe it gets into Lake Michigan and stays a little north of Two Rivers. That's Interstate 43. 43. Yep. We have a query tool on our radar where we can grab and
there we go.
Highlight things. But right, and that's going to cause, obviously, that combined with very heavy rain will cause problems on the interstate as well. There's a new scan. Wow, look how far that moved in just one scan. Oof. Okay, yeah, folks in Mishicot, Two Rivers, Two Creeks. Yeah, I would take precautions, make sure things are locked down, make sure you are inside and away from windows. These are the kind of winds that can knock down tree branches and start throwing things around. That's one scan.
That's 2 minutes, maybe? 2-3 minutes?
4, I think. I'm just estimating on how quick the radar's been updating this evening and severe weather mode. That's probably about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So how many miles is that? Leading edge of that is got to be doing like 60 miles an hour.
So, I mean, well, just in the span of one scan. Hold on a second here.
Yeah, very impressive. And we have severe thunderstorm warnings continuing for Door County, basically all of Door County, most of Kewaunee County, the southern half of Brown County, not including the city of Green Bay. This is basically just southeast of Bellevue and then south and eastward in Brown County, and then northern portions of Manitowoc County from the city of Manitowoc northward. And those warnings continue. The Brown County warning in Manitowoc and Kewaunee until 7:15. Door County until 7:30.
If scans are coming in every 4 minutes, that just moved about 4 miles in 4 minutes. So
60 miles an hour.
60 miles an hour potentially is what that surge in northern
Are you
Manitowoc
updating?
County.
Are you updating
Yes.
so you can storm track?
Yep. And
Thank
so that's just driving off to the east southeast. So we're talking. It's in Mishicot right now. Rockwood at 656 potentially. Two Creeks at 657.
Two Rivers,
Two Rivers at
702.
702.
So that's 7.5 minutes until it's in Two Rivers. That's how fast that line is moving in spots. Okay. We do have a flood advisory out also for Menominee County, Michigan, due to the heavy rainfall rates. That runs until 9:45.
And this is just another look at those strong winds that are running up through Bailey's Harbor right now. Again, whenever those golds start to kick in, that's when we start to get that color table up to around the 60s.
Yes. Yeah, the golds are 60 to 70, Phil.
Yeah. So Bailey's Harbor dealing with some extremely strong winds, as well as northern Manitowoc County, dealing with these winds that are well up over 60 miles per hour potentially, and moving very quickly off to the east-southeast.
Of positive note, it looks significantly better in Sturgeon Bay than it did a half hour ago.
Yes.
It is looking very nice in Sturgeon Bay. Phil, can you do an update on some of the warnings that we have in place right now?
Yes, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Kewaunee and northern Manitowoc County, and technically still southwestern or southeastern Brown County till 7:15. We also still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Door County until 7:30, and that is as this line of thunderstorms races off to the northeast up the Door Peninsula. So that's why I was saying Bailey's Harbor. If you are in some of those northern communities, again, like Sister Bay and Ephraim, just keep in mind you have yet to see these thunderstorms move in. So that severe thunderstorm warning for the rest of Door County is in effect till 7:30. And then again, we have this, you know what's remarkable actually about this gust front near Mishkat, there's almost no rain with it. That gust front has run so far out ahead of the main line of storms.
So the rain's going to fill in like 10 minutes after the high winds hit.
The gust front's
you can
already
see it,
here,
yeah.
And the main batch of rain is all the way back here. So that's how far out ahead this line of thunder, this line of strong winds has just blown out away from the main storm.
Yeah, we have on the screen right now, we have a couple of boxes up, and you can see the warnings on the right side and the radar on the left. On that left side, if we could go over to weather 4, if that works, or we could just take weather 4, I'd like to run through a couple of things really quickly. Kind of give folks at home an idea of the situation. We have had these thunderstorms moving through, had a number of tornado warnings, including some spotted tornadoes and damage reports around parts of the area. A number of parts of the area have seen wind damage, but it does appear we have some tornado damage as well. The leading edge of the thunderstorms, the wind portion of those thunderstorms really running from about Jacksonport right now out into Lake Michigan, back through Kewaunee, and then down to about High Cliff State Park, which is at the north end of Lake Winnebago. We have seen a gust front move through in Oshkosh at EAA. And appear to be mainly moving towards the northeast. You may see an isolated thunderstorm at EAA, but the more intense storms are already off to your east. And a widest view, and I'm going to hit pause on this just so I can give people an idea. You can see the S shape in this cluster, and that is giving us indications, 1, of very strong winds coming in like this, and 2, that there was some type of circulation in here, and it appears that that circulation may have produced or may have assisted in producing some rotation and possibly, well, a spotted tornado in Lena, but it appears that we may have more than one tornado from the activity that has moved through the area this evening. Right now, the current situation is that we have very strong winds in 2 separate locations. One, the northern side of the Door Peninsula. We have very strong winds exiting the Door Peninsula, and you can see in those golds right near Bailey's Harbor, the winds in the gold, radar estimating well, almost downtown Bailey's Harbor and then out into Lake Michigan. The latest update pushes a lot of those very high winds out into the lake. Notice that latest update ran around. It is starting to become a little more diffuse over Manitowoc County, but basically everywhere from Two Rivers to Whitelaw and northward, seeing some strong winds. It is becoming a little more diffuse, and that would be. but still winds possibly 50 to 70 miles per hour in these areas around Francis Creek, Mishcock, and Two Creeks. So the folks in those areas need to take notice as we go back towards Oshkosh and Appleton. Appleton seeing thunderstorms, but they're more scattered. And in Oshkosh, thunderstorms are generally to your north. For Green Bay and De Pere, the heaviest of the rain is through, although there are some scattered thunderstorms still back in Outagamie County. Put that into motion. And, well, I'm going to put that into motion. It's going to advance a graphic on me, but we'll put it into motion and show you that this activity over Outagamie County is just filling in on the backside of the line and running east. So you're still going to see a little bit of rain moving through here in Brown County, possibly a few thunderstorms, but I think the heaviest and the most intense of this line has moved through. Another thing I would like to point out, we're going to put the velocity on, and I'm going to go ahead and loop that. And you can see that cluster that moved out. That, Phil, it is that same rotation that brought the high winds to Bailey's Harbor that's just moving through now. But often you get this where you have an intense storm, and it's this that came through Ocano.
Yeah.
Well, that line ain't great, but I'm not great at drawing today.
That's pretty good.
That was it was close enough.
Good. Give yourself
But
credit.
so Legend Lake and Kashina seemed to have some damage. Then we had the tornado reported near Lena, and then up towards Bailey's Harbor. So it's kind of like that. But basically, it appears that was one area that had a significant rotation that just stayed all the way through the evening hours, and now seems to be exiting into Lake Michigan, which is definitely some good news.
Yeah, there are some reports of trees down in the southbound lane of Highway 57 blocked in Door County. I'm trying to get a better idea of where exactly that was. But the report basically says, what was it? Southbound lane of State Highway 57 at the split. So there's a tree down there.
At southbound 57, that was?
Yeah, perhaps some debris near County S and County O in southern Door County. As well. So it doesn't say what type of debris. It could just be trees and leaves, things like that. But either way, stuff absolutely getting blown around in southern Door
Phil,
County
can you
there.
take this for a second?
Sure. So we're still tracking these severe thunderstorms, and we do still have a couple of severe thunderstorms, rather severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect across our area. So if we can pull over to Max 1, the one area that we're watching in particular at the moment is there's this push of strong winds. As we take a look at Max 1, if we can pull that up, there's this push of really, really, really strong winds that's going through northern Manitowoc County right now that you see here. Still that severe thunderstorm warning issued. Those winds actually appear to be the strongest winds already out along the lakeshore. So you're likely already experiencing that in Two Creeks and in Two Rivers. And then also up on the northern edge of Door County, we have this very, very, very strong push of wind. And you know what? It almost looks like a little bookend vortex.
Where's that?
Just on the north end of Door County. Why can't I grab this? Okay, last hour. There we go.
It sure does.
You see what I'm looking at?
Yeah, absolutely.
This little thing right here. And so this is what I'm talking about.
Bring it in there and check velocity.
Yeah. So let me clear this off. But either way, which would absolutely jive with the fact that we saw some very, very, very strong winds just run through Bailey's Harbor just in the last 20 to 30 minutes here. So you can see this push.
Yeah, look at that push.
Popping up there, indicating those 60 to 70 mile per hour winds potentially before the main gust of wind moves its way out over the bay. So it looks like that the nastiest of the winds are starting to push out over the bay, but if you are up north of Bailey's Harbor, you do still want to keep a watch out for those really strong winds.
Yeah, Phil, take a look at, I'm going to grab this if we can, and I'll jump over, and you are on weather 1? Yeah, you're on weather 1. And you could see that, as Phil was mentioning, and that's called a bookend vortex just because it's at the northern edge of that. And you can see that little circulation that Phil had highlighted there coming through the northern sections of Door County. We're actually getting a decent swirl on that towards the end. I'm going to bring up the latest view, show you that we have a severe thunderstorm warning continuing for about another 10 minutes for portions of Kewaunee, southern Brown, and northern Manitowoc, and then for another 25 minutes for the northern end of the Door Peninsula, actually for much of Door County. It does look like it has been updated and Sturgeon Bay has been trimmed out of that warning, but the area that Phil was highlighting here is this little circulation just south of Bailey's Harbor and just east of Egg Harbor, and that would be pushing as those winds have ran through the central portions of the Door Peninsula, and we have had some reports of damage in the Door Peninsula area. It appears that when we get these, could you repeat that? Yeah, let's absolutely do that. And right now, okay. So right now we have some storm damage video, and I'm going to throw it over to Fox 11's Michelle Melby.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. This is from one of our viewers, Sarah White, Fox 11, getting a look at some of the damage from these storms. This was sent to us just moments ago. Again, this is from Sarah White. Thanks for sending this in. You can see all of the trees. Look at all of the trees that are down in the roadways. Just a significant amount, you know, all over the. So thank you so much for giving us this view. And this is what happened when those winds came through. So a lot of trees down. You can see that one snapped right in half right there. So that again is in the Kashina area from Sarah White. So thanks so much. Just showing you some of the damage that has happened with these storms.
Yeah, Michelle, I was trying to notice some of the damage there. It did appear that some of the trees had some twisting. So one of the things that you would look for in tornado damage, you would also look for the ways that some of those trees are laying. With the live report right now from Tony Longfellow from Fox 11. Tony, I hear you're out near Legend Lake. Can you tell us where you are and what you're seeing?
Yeah, that's right. We are on County Highway VV in Kashina right now. We've been taking the storm chaser out here. Right now you can see behind me that police are blocking VV, blocking people from going on to VV. Right now there's quite a bit of heavy tree damage out there right now, and possibly even some power lines. We haven't been able to get through that way yet, obviously because of safety concerns, but everything that we've seen so far is quite a bit of tree damage. Maybe if we pan that way a little bit, we could see some damage right behind that black car coming through. You can see some damage over there, and beyond that point, quite a bit of trees that we're seeing down here so far. We're just a little bit up here on County Highway VV, but we plan to check out a little bit more of this. Right now, conditions pretty quiet. Storm has come through, just a little bit of drizzle right now, but again, for safety purposes, they're not letting anybody through on VV because of all the storm damage. So we're looking to get a little bit more information about that as these emergency vehicles sit through here. So reporting live in Kashina, Tony Longfellow, Fox 11 News.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. And again, there could be power outages. We have reports of a lot of power out in Kashina and around southern portions of Menominee County. And again, that was that circulation that eventually we have a confirmed tornado near Lena, and that could be tornado damage in the Kashina area and around Legend Lake. It's going to take some time to figure out exactly what happened, but quite honestly, when you get straight line winds that could be in the 70 or 80 mile per hour range, it doesn't really matter if it's a tornado or not. It creates nearly the same damage. Go ahead, Phil.
Should say we had earlier in the evening confirmed tornado report. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, that was previous, about an hour ago. I think the tornado near Lena was at about 6 p.m. So currently, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for the northern sections of the Door Peninsula north of Sturgeon Bay, and that runs until 7:30. And then we also have a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Brown, much of Kewaunee, and the northern portions of Manitowoc County.
Yeah.
That runs for about another 7 minutes until 7:15. Phil is going to give us a rundown on some of the damage reports that we have been getting in.
Yeah, some of them starting to come in from emergency managers and storm spotters. So we have a report of south of Seymour, a pole barn that's been destroyed on County Highway C. Also, some train spotters reporting some flash flooding near Manitowoc Road and Lime Kiln. That's in Green Bay near East Mason and Diane Street, kind of near the East Mason and Main Street. 9 inches of water reported in some streets there, so some flash flooding with this incredibly heavy rain. We also have numerous reports of some tree damage all across the area. At one point, a dispatch reporting a transformer on fire in Southern Door. So this wind has clearly been doing, at the very least, a lot of damage to trees and to some of those weaker structures. Like I said, that pole barn near Seymour. Lots of people also without power. I believe we had several thousand people without power at one point in Menominee County.
Yeah.
Do we have an update on power?
Let's check in with Mark and Michelle and see if they have an update on some of the power outages.
Well, again,
taking a look at the power outages in the area right now, we can tell you that more than half of the customers in Menominee County are still without power there. We saw Tony Langfellow up there in the Kashina area. There's more than 2,000 homes, businesses without power there, so that's a very significant. 3,600 without power in the which area was that? Marinette County, we can tell you, and 2,000 without power in Oconto County, as well as power outages in Brown County, nearly 2,500 outages in Brown County because of the high winds that have passed through the area, Michelle.
And you can kind of see on that map right in front of on your screen, that's kind of like the swath of the path of the storm. So those numbers could go up as the evening goes on, but that is basically where that main big part of that storm came through and was showing some problems now, obviously, in the power outages.
Yeah, when you see those downed trees, the tree limbs and the tree branches, they're going to be hitting those power lines and taking
the debris,
them down.
there's debris everywhere too.
That's what's causing those problems there, and likely shutting down some roads as well.
Absolutely, and we saw some of those images earlier with that video from Kashina, with trees basically everywhere in that one patch of video that was sent into us. Trees down on the ground blocking roadways, and as we just heard from our reporter, the authorities are now making sure that some of those roadways are blocked so the public can't get through to it and further damage cars or themselves. So let's send it back over to Patrick and Phil to get the latest.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michelle. That's super helpful information there. The Fox 11 Storm Tracker on our Max 1 system indicating this wider view of the thunderstorms, and something, the main line of thunderstorms is going to be weakening. That is going to be moving off towards the east. But notice there are secondary storms popping up near La Crosse and over the southern portions of Minnesota. There is a chance that some of those move over the Northwoods later on tonight. But for the most part, the main line of thunderstorms that it's moving through is going to push eastward, and that should help us out. We should see the severe threat significantly drop off as this activity kind of works out into Lake Michigan and heads over towards the northern sections of the lower peninsula. But for now, we still have a little gust front that's cutting through Kiel. We have some scattered thunderstorms that are still pushing through parts of Manitowoc and Calumet County, but notice it is not making it any further south. It'll probably make it down a little south of Highway 10. That's about it. And then across the Northwoods, you can see that it has mainly moved out into Lake Michigan and still in the Washington Island area and up by Death's Door, but that is moving east and out of the area. So we are going to go ahead and return you to regular programming. We will have full updates on the thunderstorms that have moved through, video from the storms, the storm reports that we have gotten in this evening. We'll have a rundown of all, could you repeat that? Oh, okay. We will have a rundown of all of that coming up on Fox 11 News at 9. We have Tony Langfellow is out in Kashina right now. We have other reporters out covering some of these thunderstorms. We're gathering some of the storm reports, and it looks like the biggest threat for severe weather has pushed out into Lake Michigan. So we're going to return you to regular programming. Keep it tuned here to Fox 11, though. We are your station for severe weather coverage.